In coverage earlier this week, we told you how a family reportedly manipulated their way into an elderly couple's home in Colorado Springs and has since taken over the property.
Now we are learning how the law actually protects these unwanted house guests and that they can even access free legal help.
Many people have actually been asking, how can something like this possibly happen? So Fox 21's Carolyn Felling looked into the difference between squatters and guests who outstay their welcome and when they can become considered tenants. What can you tell us, Carolyn?
Scott and Abby, yes, Colorado squatter rights is actually also known as adverse possession, and it refers to a legal principle that allows individuals who have been occupying a property for a certain amount of time without the owner's permission to claim ownership of that property. But it is important to understand that adverse possession does not give squatters an automatic right of ownership. Instead, it provides a defense against eviction for the true owner. If you've ever heard of the term squatters' rights, you may be wondering what exactly that means. And when does a welcome guest become a tenant? You will not find the term squatters' rights under Colorado law, but you will find adverse possession.
Squatting is what we refer to in Colorado, the situation where people basically try to take possession of abandoned property, whether it's a home or a commercial building of some commercial space of some sort.
Adverse possession is defined as possessing someone's property in a way that is open, hostile, exclusive, and continuously adverse to the claim of the owner. Essentially, it is a way for someone to claim legal ownership over someone else's property.
There are certain ways that you can take ownership, possession of a property that isn't yours, but that's really rare.
But what's more likely is a guest outstaying their welcome.
He just opens the door to let somebody use the bathroom and then they end up just staying and not leaving. You have the trespasser situation at that point, and he can call the police and explain the situation. Now, if you get into days and weeks go by, then it becomes an entirely different situation here.
Long-term guests may actually become default tenants under Colorado law, who are then entitled to certain legal protections. This is true even if there is no lease agreement or any form of agreement between you and your house guest.
The people who occupy the property until they are forcibly removed have, in many instances, some right to at least stay and make an argument that they are entitled to be there for a certain additional length of time.
For property owners, understanding these laws can help prevent uncomfortable situations.
If he owns the property and he is in fact considered a landlord and she is a tenant, then he has certain rights and so does she. So he cannot just evict her.
Colorado law is clear that guests are not tenants and are not entitled to the formal eviction process. However, the police have no way of discerning whether your guest is a trespasser or a tenant and may refuse to remove the person. If you find yourself in this situation, you should begin the eviction process immediately with your local sheriff's office, as it may take weeks and even months to remove the unwanted guests. Scott and Abby.
This is very frustrating.